It's April 16th, 2014. Some haunted fucking place is up for sale. And this is your Fortean Slip news.
From Gizmodo.com. I love the name of that website, by the way. The most haunted place, as Chris stated, is for sale. It says, do you like ghosts?
Yes.
Yes, me too. Then you'll love Poveglia, I think. A small deserted island in the
Do you
Venetian
love
Lagoon.
ghosts? You'll love Pac-Man.
Actually, hate Pac-Man.
A small...
Sorry. Go ahead.
A small deserted island.
I saw a really hot girl with a Pac-Man shirt. Had one of the ghosts in like the Ghostbuster trap.
That's going on the auction block next month. It's been called the Island of Madness, or Hell, and the most haunted place on Earth. You'd just love it to pieces. This place sounds scary. The trouble started back in the late 19th century when Poveglia served as a checkpoint for ships going to Venice. After a pair of ships carrying plague victims arrived in 1793, the island was sealed off and turned into a quarantine zone for people with infectious diseases, a role it served for over a century. It goes without saying that many of these people died on the island during this time,
Without saying.
But I just said it. Leading to the widespread belief that Poveglia is haunted. It didn't help when the place was converted into a hospital for the mentally ill in 1922. Rumor has it the hospital was home to a number of crude lobotomies performed by a doctor who'd been driven mad by the ghosts. He later flung himself off the bell tower. Why
does every haunted place have a bell tower?
These days, Poveglia is pretty quiet. Still owned by the Italian government, it's been abandoned for the last 50 years, though ghost hunters like to make the pilgrimage whenever they can. One American TV presenter even says he was briefly possessed while visiting the island.
That's what I was talking about.
That's what you were talking about. I got
Yeah.
it. The Italian government is now offering a 99-year lease to whomever is brave enough to take it over. No price information is available yet, but they think it would make a great destination hotel. Yeah.
Sounds like it.
But it's a gem. It really is. St. Mark's Square is a stone's throw away. The landscaping is gorgeous, and just think of all the stories you'd be able to tell after a few years living amongst the spirits of old plague victims and mental patients. Of course, you may have to perform an exorcism or two, but hey, nothing's perfect. It's a fixer-upper, they say.
One would say so.
One would say so. And from 3news.co.nz, this guy says Bigfoot descended from Homo erectus.
Liar.
An Australian cryptozoologist has claimed Bigfoot, the alleged mysterious ape-like creature that allegedly roams the northwest of the United States, is actually a descendant of our distant ancestor.
Wait. Bigfoot came from an erection?
Yes.
Homo erectus. That's a sciencey thing, Chris. Rex Gilroy, who has authored a number of books on unexplained phenomena, also claims Bigfoot is related to the mythical Australian creature known as the Yowie. Bigfoot has Aussie
the
ouchie. That was a good one. Bigfoot has Aussie genes, he told a UK newspaper, the Daily Mail, earlier this week. I'm going to cop flack for saying that.
Oh, no, it's a Yowie.
He said, I'm going to cop flack for saying that, but it's true, and I have evidence to prove it. According to Mr. Gilroy, the proof is in the two creatures' remarkably similar footprints. And the reason no one's ever been able to prove they exist, says Mr. Gilroy,
I found that it's in the creature's erection.
Crikey.
Mr. Gilroy says that Bigfoot and Yowie hunters don't know what they're looking for. The reason...
But he does.
Yeah. The reason so many hunters have tried and failed is because they're looking for a big, hairy monster that doesn't exist. There's a pattern throughout all Australian history where the Aborigines used
Everybody knows you find those in gay bars.
The Aboriginals, I should say, used to refer to it as the hairy man, which meant a hairy man.
The hairy men, not
Or
the
hairy woman.
Aboriginals.
Right. There's an 8-foot-tall male living around Katoomba, for example, but
See,
most
told
are
you.
not much taller than your average person. But Mr. Gilroy admits, without biological evidence, he won't be able to prove the Yowie and Bigfoot are related, or even really exist. We need tissue. He says tissue is the holy grail. I'm assuming
Maniacs!
biological tissue of some sort.
Oh.
And from my favorite news source, the dailymail.co.uk. A full-time Loch Ness monster hunter says he spent nearly a quarter of a century looking for the elusive beast.
Pow!
He says it showed up on the one day he didn't have his camera on him. Steve Feltham, 51, left his job fitting security cameras and his home in Dorset to move to the banks of Loch Ness in Inverness-shire and devote his time to searching for the legendary monster in 1991. After 2 years of patiently scanning the loch, Mr. Feltham says he finally caught a glimpse of Nessie, as the monster is known, but he didn't have his camera. Since then, he's kept a careful watch on the waters of the loch, but has not seen her since.
And started penning his new novel, My Life as a Complete Failure.
Mr. Feltham, who said he became obsessed with the legend of Nessie after a family holiday to the Highlands when he was 7, said he spotted the monster in 1993. He said, I was sitting on the shore near Fort Augustus, end of the loch, when something went past the bay through the water.
How
It was
I
like a
tried
torpedo.
to unlock the mysteries of the Loch.
Okay.
Yes.
It was like a torpedo shot. It had some weight behind it, hitting through the waves. Nothing in Loch Ness could create a disturbance like that, apart from Nessie. I just sat there in amazement. It was the moment I had always been waiting for, and I'm kicking myself for not taking a photo. Since then, I have been by the loch with my camera, poised every day, come rain or shine.
Soon of a beach!
He says, gutted is an understatement. He won't let that kind of opportunity pass him by again. Mr. Feltham's fascination with the Loch Ness Monster dates back to a childhood holiday to the Scottish Highlands in 1970. He said, I remember standing on the banks of Loch Ness with my family and watching a big expedition of Nessie hunters set up a platform with a huge meter-long camera. I remember being fascinated by the mystery of the monster, and I was hooked from there. As a teenager, he would spend 2 weeks at a time camping in a tent on the shores of the loch, but by the time he was 27, the passion had been all-consuming, so Mr. Feltham decided to leave his home in Wilbourn and move to Scotland. He actually bought an old mobile library for £1,500, parked it in the car park of a pub called the Doors Inn, and lived there ever since. And this next part doesn't surprise me. As a bachelor, he spends his days studying the waters of the loch and making models of the monster, which he sells to tourists to fund his simple lifestyle. He said, this is my passion and exactly what I want to do with my life.
But I stood down!
And that, fellas, is the news.
You know, I can kind of relate to that story. Like a little
Which
bit.
part?
Because I'm always on the search for the perfect breasts. And I never seem to have a camera when they come out, Steve.
I never have a camera at that moment either. I think they cloak themselves.
Pow!
I'm just surprised the guy's a bachelor.
Oh, shut the fuck up.